keep hitting up, bro. He was sick.
Yeah, I'm like literally just getting back into the groove.
Yeah.
All right. What's good, everyone? Seth Moon here, aka Cali Green Too Fresh. Got a very special guest tonight. We've got Larry Coleman, 2020, in the motherfucking building. What's good, Larry?
Man, just out here doing my shit. Feeling good. It's a new year. New opportunities ahead of us. New interviews coming out. Everything's going well, man. Getting ready for tour.
Hell yeah, man. So why don't you go ahead and just quickly give us a little rundown who you are, how long you've been in the game, and yeah, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I've been independent since I started. I started applying pressure back in 2018, recording some songs, doing my shit. I started off in the Bay Area, California, uh, and started making some songs. Oh shit! I'm gonna start that shit over. That was terrible.
Oh, you're good.
Fuck. Can you cut that right at that?
Yeah, dude. We can start it over.
All right,
we're still in the beginning.
The question.
All right. What's good, y'all? Seth Moon here, aka Cali Green, Too Fresh, FagoLovers.net, Carnival Spirits. I got Larry Coleman, 2020, in the motherfucking studio. What's good, Larry?
Man, just doing my shit, living. New year, new opportunities, man.
Hell yeah. So for those who don't know you, why don't you just go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, man. I started off recording songs in 2018. Around 2020, I made my first album and started to fall in love with making the music. Ever since then, I've been linking up with independent cats. It's focusing on getting better and better and better. I now live out in Las Vegas. I moved here from the Bay Area, California in 2023. In 2021, and things started to really take off for me out here. So.
Hell yeah, but you're not originally from the Bay though, right?
I'm originally from Michigan. I grew up in Detroit. I went to school at Central Michigan, in mid-Michigan, northern Michigan. And then I moved to the Bay Area when I graduated from college.
Nice. So after moving from Michigan to the Bay Area, what was that kind of culturally, that switch up like?
It was different. So a lot of people ask me if I think I would have had success back in Michigan. I think it's the California lifestyle, the weather, the good vibes, the good feeling, the people, the belief that something good can happen. You can feel it from that California sunshine. I think that has a large part to play with myself, my growth, and my personality, man.
Hell yeah. And then when you were a kid, how did you first get into music, and how did you decide that that's what you wanted to do?
Growing up in East Detroit, man, hip-hop was definitely a fatherly role for me. I think, first and foremost, I had an older brother at the time. He was a stepbrother, but he definitely gave a big shit about me and how I felt. And he used to take me to school, drop me off, pick me up. Took on a lot of the responsibilities that a parent would. And the only thing he was ever listening to is hip-hop. Whether it was a Cash Money tape, No Limit tape, or an ICP tape. He did not discriminate against all the sounds of hip-hop, and I got to be around that every day. So it was a blessing for me.
That's what's up. I also grew up in the No Limit, Cash Money, ICP days. Man. And, I'm also from the Midwest and moved out to California in those like kind of mid-teen years. So you were more late teen years though, but still same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know exactly what you're talking about. So how did you start making music?
That's a really good question. So my best friend, when I was younger, around 2012, I had recorded music in high school like everybody else. Recorded my first cassette tape on a Home Alone Walkman. I blasphemy, but I deleted a Naughty by Nature tape, recorded over that, started rapping. I remember remixing T-Pain's I'm Sprung like 6 times when I was in high school, and I just kept rewriting the song, and I kept rewriting it in different ways. The same song, almost like it was verses, but I think I was practicing hooks. So having no way to record, I just kept practicing a lot. I became almost like a tape recorder. I could start to mimic my own noises, and I was able to rap in tune for about a minute at a time. So fast forward 2012, I'm in Flint, Michigan. My best friend, Minister Julius, in Kansas City. Casey Mo strong independent scene out there. He he came over and helped me set up my own recording booth and my own recording studio so I could practice on my own and try different inflections and different voices and try to grow as an artist. But that was in Flint, Michigan. Other side of that, I'm not doing well after college. It's hard for me to make money. The economy is very different out here in the West Coast, and you probably relate to that moving from the Midwest out west. I got evicted, and I move out west on a whim and a dream. I get in a job that has a one-bedroom apartment attached to the job, and I start writing songs in my car. And I remember that whole process. I promised myself that if I ever could save up enough money to build my studio the way I did in Flint and to be able to pay my California rent, that I would make it count. I prayed for it. I prayed a lot for it, and I don't pray for nothing. I got a second job at a restaurant. That was a very expensive restaurant, and I started bussing tables, and I was able to pay for that exact space that I described, and it was the start of everything, and it was the best decision I ever made.
Hell yeah, it just completely like manifested all of that.
Insane, but yes.
And so while you're in the Bay Area, you actually had an amazing opportunity. You were given the cosign by Trax a Million.
Yes, sir.
How did that come to be?
So, coming up in the Bay Area, I knew that there was a strong independent scene there. I didn't really ask people for nothing. It was important for me to establish myself so that people had heard of me for doing something right. When I recorded my first album, I pressed up 2,000 copies, and I ran it all over the city of San Jose and San Francisco. My goal was to get $10 an album to support the art so I could go back, get better equipment, build out my studio, make a better album, and more so, make that connection with the fan by meeting them. While I'm passing out these 2,000 albums, I meet Bay Area legends. I'm out campaigning alone, and they think I'm crazy, which is, I am, so it makes sense. I run into Messy Marv. I run into San Quinn. I run into downtown one night at this place called Level Up. Yeah, Level Up. It's like an adult arcade with cool drinks, cool little vibe. They have like Capri Sun pouches that you punch a straw in and they're spiked. They're fire. It's a cool place. And I see a couple of San Jose artists over there. One of them's Trax a Million. At the time, I didn't know. I mean, I knew who he was. I knew the name. I knew the instrumental, the beat, but I hadn't like seen a ton of pictures of him. And I was telling somebody about selling my albums, and I watched him turn his head at me, and he's like, you sold 1,800 albums? And I was like, I did. So the worst part is it wasn't even very good. You know, he started laughing. But I realized that sometimes it's not always about, how you sound or how you look, but about what you're doing. And what I was doing is hustling. And I think that my peers respected that.
That's what's up. So, you meet Trax a Million. I mean, what was that relationship like?
Out of the gate, I think that it was a deep relationship. We had a lot of long conversations about things and how the world was, particularly for us. Him being a Black American, his experience growing up in and around music, mine being a white American, but definitely growing up in a black city, and how I think we got along well because we always kind of laughed at the indifferences of people. We had a very deep relationship. That's how it started, actually. I think that we trusted each other, and that trust translated into working. Trusted me with his sound and trusted me with his respect, because it was important to me that we did well. It still is.
Yeah, man. And that's crazy. I mean, he's like the forefront of the whole hyphy movement.
Crazy. At the time, I had to educate myself. He presented himself so humbly and so kind and so professional that I never forgot it. It made me want to impact and meet people for the first time the way I met him for the first time. Humble, somebody. But it isn't about being somebody. It's about the work. And he always made me feel like art was an important part of this whole matrix. And it's a part that I plan on standing on as hip-hop goes through its little reset here.
Yeah. So, eventually you decide to relocate out here to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
What was that process like, and why'd you come to Vegas?
That's a really fast one. So the pandemic hit, and yeah, we were all on a fixed income. Everybody in the country. I was paying $42.50 on a mortgage in San Jose, and I wasn't gonna lose $60,000 by not being able to work for 24 months in San Jose. So I slid over to Vegas. It was supposed to be temporary. Um, Remember that space I previously described that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I built it again, and I had a choice. And my first Hunger Games album, I recorded it. My first feature was Dizzy Wright. At the time, I heard of him in the Bay Area for some of his weed songs. I didn't know he lived here. To be entirely transparent, I'm not. I'm not a guy that's. I don't ask people for things. I didn't know he lived here. I didn't know he lived close by, and he blessed me with a track. And I think it changed my trajectory in Las Vegas right out of the gate. People knew I was serious. People knew I was coming for it. If they didn't know, uh, they definitely know now. Um, that same album was the one that had productions not only from Tracks a Million and San Francisco legend. Outside of Larry June, he might be the most successful artist there. His name is Ozer. He won't say it, but I'll say it. He's wildly successful out of San Francisco, independent. Him and Tracks a Million are on the intro track from there. The sounds of Slum Village, the voice of Dizzy Wright, Larry Coleman. It was a special project. That's what I chose to do in the pandemic.
Nice. So, did you actually meet Dizzy Wright in person?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, we just did. I've known Dizzy since I got to Las Vegas. I got the opportunity to make the connection. It started over email, you know, and then the song comes out. Years, 2 years go by after that. He sees me doing my shit. We're doing our thing. We have some mutual friends that are successful in the music industry. Some friends over at Ineffable Records. They're out of the Bay Area. They sign a lot of the reggae bands that are with the Atmosphere, often the Revelations, and I'm probably botching that name. But there's a whole the Irie Nations. They're legends. They're the ones that do the Cali Roots, and all these LV Roots and all the reggae festivals. But they're out here. Our friend Jay Lately was out here, and for my last birthday party, Dizzy came up, blessed the stage. I honestly, him and Jay had a new song coming out. He didn't even know it that well, but it showed his humility and his humbleness. And he got up there and ripped that shit and spent the night kicking it with us. And then end of the year, Vibes in the Valley, December 12th. We just had another amazing concert. Me and Dizzy Wright, New Woo Cup this year. Me and Dizzy Wright, 10-12, fifth annual, our biggest paid show in the city of the year, which was important for us. But it seems as if the connection just keeps coming up and coming up and coming up. And he'll probably tell you, because he keeps telling me the last couple times I've seen him, Larry, you're polished as shit. You're polished as shit. But I'm actually going to reach out to him and let him know that towards the end of this year, I would love an opportunity to get out there on the road. I bring a lot to the table as a tour mate because I've been in front of this thing so many times. So, yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Hell yeah. So, tell us a little bit about the Hunger Games series.
Pandemic hits. I hadn't even seen Hunger Games yet, but I knew that I remember I seen parts of it when I was in a visiting room, and I remember when they go into the Hunger Games that they get to go get their weapons, and not everybody realizes they're in a fight. I view independent hip hop that way. A lot of people want to make music. They want to be on the scene. They want people to know who they are, but a lot of people are scared of the work. And and the work in the case of Hunger Games was taking cats out. For us, in an underground world where things are growing, it's getting bigger and bigger. It's hard. I think one of the biggest challenges is it's hard for an artist. Let's say you're in a pond to swim through all these lily pads to get some air. If you're really good and dope and you're creative, and you got all these kids with no talent paying hundreds or thousands of dollars to be on a channel, to be on a Lyrical Lemonade, to get on the radar, when you start putting a price tag on things that used to be only accessible for your talent, it really makes things mucky. It makes things real weird out here for a successful independent. Navigating that space the last few years has been interesting as hell. I feel bad for a lot of artists, man. People are trying to steal our money. A lot of the times these cats aren't even in the country. They're in India trying to make a Seth Moon account to get out there and see if they can get money from somebody. And these things are really taking place, and they discourage artists. And some artists need discouraged, but for somebody that has clarity, it's a lot to watch.
Hmm. So the Hunger Games series, though, it's been pretty successful for you, correct?
Hunger Games was crazy successful. So as I was previously saying, I kicked off that first Hunger Games. It was important to me to match that energy for all four albums. Over that same amount of time, I knew that when I started Hunger Games, it didn't mean the title, the emotion. The only thing it didn't mean as much as the timestamp. I knew from 2021 to 2024, I was going to make one album per year. I was going to make them exactly the same length, both by minutes, time, and track length. And if you notice, I'm an absolute symmetrical nutcase. And it's part of the art. If you can, why not? So, Hunger Games 2, shout out to UBI, Strange Music, comes out, kills the record. Uh, Man, Hunger Games 2 was special. Who else? Kung Fu Vampire on the intro track. Uh, it's my brother from San Jose, does this fucking thing. We come out with a track called On My Own, and it's talking about our stake in the independent game. And I bounce out the same kind of success on Hunger Games 2 as I did Hunger Games 1. It was a huge, huge deal. Hunger Games 3 comes out. Okay, Hunger Games 3 intro track was originally set up for Locksmith. John Connor from Flint, Michigan ended up filling that in Vehicle City. It talks about the things that I go through. That's the guy I'm at sitting out. Hunger Games 1's out. It's now gold. Hunger Games 2 is out. Will probably be gold next year. Now I'm sitting on this record. I feel like I'm in a different space. I'm including local artists too from Las Vegas, championing their work, putting them on stages, putting them on shows, not charging them anything. Which all led up to our first tour, which was the 2003 Hunger Games 3 promotional run. It was the first time I headlined a tour. But ultimately, I want to take all of the Hunger Games series, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5 is the greatest hits, and I want to press them up and take them on the road and sell them to fans. I'm going to sign them, dine them, wine them. I want people to have these. I want these moments I'm describing to you in making the albums to be as special to them as these albums were special to me, because they were a big deal. They are a big deal. They're under celebrated because I still feel like I'm putting in a lot of work to make it. It's getting, like I said earlier, it's a vast amount of work. But I plan on this year pressing them all up and selling them all on vinyl, cassette tape, and CD.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you actually, I want to congratulate you because you actually got a gold record.
Yes.
Like, how does that feel?
Crazy. It was a lot of work. Our strategy was through a download strategy. I came up on SoundCloud, so I understood the power of downloads. The other thing I understood the power of, and shout out to Spotify for starting a beta program to get it, is the power of SoundCloud's messaging box to connect to a fan. The value of a lifelong fan means more in the weight of a connection than any monetary value. So that goes for all you artists out here working your asses off. The weight of a lifelong fan, the value of that is something exceptional. If you're talking about it and you've never really achieved it, stop talking about it, achieve it, and then ask yourself how that really feels. So I wanted to leave that nugget.
Hell yeah. So you recently released Dum Dum Candy and Trolls.
Whew. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. What's this project about?
So the entire thing is a disresponse. There's a group of hip hop artists in town that my team has always supported. We have always been kind to them. We've been over gracious to them. We share one mutual friend with this group of people. We feel as if this mutual friend really misrepresented our relationship to them, our relationship to the community, and it's sad because he's somebody we used to book a lot of shows for. Dum Dum Candies and Trolls was, I am a smart guy. I know when somebody doesn't like me, and I had a feeling that these local artists were going to say something or maybe try to start a hip hop beef. So I recorded an entire album, with the exception of the intro song, which was our finishing piece, waiting in anticipation for this. And one day when I was at work, these boys wrote a really disrespectful record towards my group and team, and my partner in crime, Truth, wrote a response in 15 minutes on his microphone while he was at work and fucked them up. I didn't want to even release Dum Dums, Candies, and Trolls because I thought that it was a really lopsided rap beef, and it only got worse and more lopsided. Um, but the Dum Dums, Candies, and Trolls are for somebody to be disrespectful to people that support them, especially when they're in their own city, for somebody to clown the underground, for somebody to clown people that look different, for somebody to champion race as a way to put themselves ahead. All of the ways that they presented themselves in a childish manner as if they were eighth graders, ninth graders, talking about how gay we were and things like that, as if being gay is the worst slander you could throw at someone. Mind you, we do shows in the arts district here. Okay? All of this was some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen. So Dum Dums, for the cover art, it was just going to be some troll dolls. But for months, probably 6 to 8 months, there's four or five members of this group, and every day Instagram added that feature where there was this little widget that would talk about your day, and they would say shit that would either be a jab at us, a poke at us, or a braggadocious because they weren't feeling good about what they were doing. Regardless of all of it, it felt like validation. Our team has moved forward. We have no qualms with anybody. It was always love for us, but also kicking the teeth in of people who thought they were going to start a fight and bully us was quite comical for us too. So 2025 was full of surprises, and it was a great year for our team. That's really setting up this next year. It's probably going to be even a better year.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I saw that pop up, and it kind of caught me off guard because you've been promoting other things that you were wanting to do, and then this popped up, and I caught on real quick. Okay, this is a diss tape. Wonder what that's about, because I mean, honestly, like, you're out here killing it. Like, you kind of control the arts district in a kind of interesting way. I've noticed that I've seen you twice live now, yeah, and both times was out there in the arts district, and man, when you're up on that stage, you fucking own it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird to me, and I noticed that every time you're up there on that stage, one of the things that you're promoting is positivity.
Every time.
Where does that come from?
Man, it's necessary. It's an understanding. So one, like we were talking about earlier, I'm mentored by positive people, right? My brothers are action packs and Kung Fu Vampire. We don't deal with fucking nothing that's not positive. So, having a good home makes for a better outside appearance. But moving forward, man, our whole team's positive. It's not me. It's JT, Shikati, Truth. My whole team that I organized, we're the Misfits. In their diss, it didn't land, but I thought it was actually good. They called us the Goonies. The Goonies saved the neighborhood. So I thought it was super fitting. Shikati, JT, I literally grabbed the kids that were the strongest supporters here, because I knew that outside of when we all got out of the pandemic, we all went to the arts district, all genres. We all met each other. I think Las Vegas bumped a lot of early shoulders that we normally wouldn't have bumped. And I saw these guys, and I know because I played college basketball. I remember what the fraternities were like at school. I saw this giant fraternity down there, and I knew who would never get booked. And I introduced myself, and we ended up all becoming friends. I have a really close friendship with probably my entire team on a level that it's the best part of Las Vegas. The reason why I haven't left, and the reason why I dig in here, is because I have the best friends I have ever had.
Cool. That's fresh.
Yeah.
That's hella fresh.
Some good people here. There's a lot of weird people here, but there's some good people here too.
So, Larry Coleman versus the internet.
Oh.
What's this project?
So, I got kicked back through distros. I'm gonna still release it. It comes out in a couple of weeks, but it's the last 5 singles that are out. I get through Hunger Games, and I say I want to make the best music for me. I wanted to make a perfect EP that I could listen to all day. So in it, I grabbed the greatest production team that anybody in hip hop could assemble, because I'm ready to make moves, and I think that hip hop, at least our genre, the underground, the independent, the lyrical, and I'm not even the most lyrical in my genre, but that group, they're waiting for me to do something special. I know they are. And DJ Hoppa produced multiple tracks on the record. Kato on the track. Shout out to Kato, who was huge in getting the release out, make sure it got to where it needed to be. Monumental. Denon from D12. That's Mr. Porter.
Yeah.
And lastly, Big Schoon right here in Las Vegas, my DJ as well, who will be touring with me from the 16th to the 22nd this year. Big Schoon in the building.
That's crazy. I mean, that's a solid line of producers right there.
Yeah.
Like, how do you even go from being just this? I mean, you're an independent artist.
Yeah.
But how do you position yourself to work with such fucking phenomenal names?
You know, truthfully, a lot of it's the way you present yourself. You know, when people hear of you, you want them to hear from the right person. When people, when people find out about you, you want them to find out the right thing. So a lot of it's like positioning and slowly moving through this industry. When you're ready to run, you need to crawl. You know, some of the positioning too is in the business positioning, right? When Denon says he'll produce you a track, and you know that you could get the instrumental on BeatStars for $49, and probably 1,000 cats have tried to do that. You can also make the exclusive price and put an end to him having to need $50, and now you own an original piece of art, right? You got to think about these things. It's not always about survival. It's about what makes sense for every party that comes to the table. Honestly, I would call political skills. You have to be aware of what other people are interested in. You can't just fucking move, and try to assert your dream onto others. It's a mutually beneficial relationship. Every time you shoot a video, every time you book a show, and that goes back to like, I don't run the arts district. I make money for the venue owners. I make money from the venue owners because my friends don't fight, they don't argue, they don't do all the shit that hip hop gets stereotyped for. We're the exception, not only in Las Vegas, but my team has been doing shows all over the country for 2 years now, which probably contributed to us being a hip hop beef as well, because people don't do talk. And I think, 2026 is upon us. We got 1 month left to chill, and we're hitting the road strong. Cottonmouth Kings, we take off February 7th, Ridgecrest, California. It's gonna be fire.
Hell yeah. So, since you went ahead and segued,
Yeah.
You got a tour coming up. Tell us about the tour. Like, where are you gonna be hitting?
Man, we start off in Ridgecrest. We'll be hitting California very heavy with Cottonmouth Kings, which is awesome. I do well there. They do well there. We'll have special guest RBL Posse linking up with us in the Bay Area and moving north to Oregon. On the other side of there, myself and Colt Records will pick back up on the No Kings tour. I'll be up there linking up with Aku, a few other of my old tour mates, and we're gonna take a couple stops on our way up to Seattle. Probably book that in and around my name. I think we could do some numbers up there, but with the right promotions and the right venues, back to that relationship stuff, I think we're gonna have a successful run. Yeah, the No Kings tour, man. It starts on February 7th. We'll be with Cottonmouth Kings all the way until April 24th of this year, which is gonna be interesting.
That's fire. That's fire. So, you were just whenever I got here mixing some music. You were showing me some shit. What is that project? It's like an Alice in Wonderland themed project.
Man, I think after Hunger Games, I'm always on something nerdy or something rallyable. I think that hip hop's about recreating things, and it's not just sounds. Sometimes it's stories. And I'm gonna probably kind of combine my success off of Larry versus the Internet, uh, transition it over to some massive production still. Starting off with Tracks a Million leaves something in your head. It's not about. It's all about. It's all about loving what you make. You know, I think that for I've been studying Alice in Wonderland and sampling the movie, the 1951 cartoon, the movie, the 2010, 2016, and just trying to get ingrained with the historical side of it, the way C.S. Lewis saw it, and kind of tell my story of what seems to be a bit of a struggle, both a pushback to Victorian England in a time where things were just weird. Babies were being fed morphine, growing snouts like pigs. Mad Hatters were, uh, you know what I'm saying, getting occupational disease from dying rabbit furs with mercury. Weird shit was happening, and it reminds me of now. The weird shit is happening everywhere, and I know everybody knows it. Whether you're proud of it or you're not proud of it, everybody feels it, and it's weird. It's just something I never thought I would experience in my lifetime again.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like definitely, what you were showing me, it was different.
Yeah,
It was different, and I like that about you. That you're not afraid to be yourself. That takes a lot.
man, I don't know anything different. Sonically, musically is where I stand out the most as myself. I don't sound like any artist. Uh, I think sometimes in pockets I snap. I've been told I sound like uh, Mad Child. I've been told I sound like JID, but I don't. I just go for it. You know, I write my words and connect them in weird ways, and I have a weird bounce and rhythm to the way I rap. I don't sound like anybody. I do not get the respect for being original. It sucks because we're moving towards an era where people want to be reminded of someone else, and it's not good for originality.
I'm gonna agree with you 1,000%. And I think what you're doing, you're definitely doing something different, and the hustle is really showing. You've worked with fucking amazing people throughout your entire career, and it's gotten you to a deal with Sony, right?
Yeah, we got $100,000 on a distribution and publishing deal. Started off on a distro deal. We expanded that over to publishing because we're going to need some additional looks from their team to find people in this era where when you walk in a candy store, there's so many kinds of candy. We need to find the people that like my candy, and it's difficult through marketing, the fake campaigners that I was complaining about previously or educating about. Depends on your perspective, but we need to find more people. I do already do well in Europe. I can see a European tour. I can see in England all the major U.S. cities. Um, with some just underground music, with some absolute authenticity over some boom bap songs that hopefully, if people can support correctly, we'll be able to leave them behind forever and add to the originality, the original crate that we all value so much that we call golden era hip hop, whatever we call it. It's special.
Hell yeah.
And it's hard to accept new songs in that specialness because those songs that we know were so good. I was listening to Gangstar yesterday and I was like, nobody will ever make music like this again. Never. Ever. It's weird. It's a timestamp.
Yeah, for sure. So, what is the rest of your 2026 looking like?
Man, we got some so I told you we'll be through April and May. I'll be extremely busy recording the album. I'll be with Cottonmouth Kings on tour for all the way through April. We'll be getting our funding right. We got a sponsorship from Fila that'll be helping us sponsor this tour. And I want to say my plans were concrete. I would like to work with a great independent that has an audience that's different than mine. Like I mentioned earlier, like a Dizzy Wright. I know that there's an opportunity to work with Mad Child and the Swollen members. For me, I think that would be a great fit. But also at the same time, looking forward to making some more great music. I have to get a lot of visuals done. I need to set up more interviews and just get the message out there that there is somebody out here working this hard that's doing everything correct. And if we can't get behind that, well, what should we get behind? That's where I sit. So we're gonna try to brand this thing to the top. Staying authentic to who you are is most important. Keeping the nostalgia of a time that made more sense is imperative. And our mission has just grown and included more people and gotten easier and easier and easier. When people think it gets harder, it does not. It gets more tiring, but it starts to get easier. That's where we're at. Things are starting to smooth out.
Hell yeah. And then, you got any shout outs?
Man, I got 1,000 shout outs. The whole tour. Sucker Punch Productions for help getting us on the tour and helping set us up. Coat Records for just relentless work, putting in the work. Not just in San Diego, they've been out in Las Vegas. Everyone that supported us in the city. I was doing our insights for the year. 3,159 people by order, different people last year, bought a ticket to my show in Las Vegas. So I got to remind myself, if there's 10 to 12 people that treat me absolute haste and disrespect for no reason, to ignore them. Remind myself that why they choose that avenue and that route for their trajectory and brand, and just stay focused. Not and for me, I got a saying, and maybe I'll close with this. I always said, if you focus on the man to your left and the man to your right, you'll be right where you're supposed to be. I'm gonna keep doing that, applying that method to what I'm doing. Try to put on some producers I think are better. Like putting Schoon on Larry versus the Internet was intentional. I think that he belongs in this conversation. See if we can all elevate and rock this thing till the wheels fall off. 2026 would be huge. 2027, I'd like to see a world tour. Maybe get to Canada at the end of 2026. That would be on that Swollen member run. We'll see. See what happens.
Hell yeah, that's super fresh. Man, Larry, it's been awesome.
Man, I know we could go at this all day.
I know. I gotta say thank you for inviting me and my wife out. You know, taking care of us. All right, y'all. Larry Coleman, 2020. It's been FagoLovers.net. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, appreciate you too, man.
Hell yeah. Always keep it wicked, motherfucking fresh. Be on the lookout. Larry Coleman, 2020 is coming in 2026. Full fucking force. FagoLovers.net. Got you covered.
And LarryColeman2020.com. Follow me on Spotify. That's where you guys can get concert tickets, new music, and updates. Peace.
Hell yeah. Peace out, y'all.